Hi there, Wayne from Root River Rod Co. Last fly we tied a very, very small midge emerger at a size 30. And we had a few techniques in there that we talked about in order to, what we needed to do in order to be able to tie a fly on that small of a hook. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff with what we're doing now. This is a Scud pattern. This is going to be the easiest Scud pattern you've ever tied in your life. And I'm not going to say it's the most effective Scud pattern you've ever fished in your life, but it's going to be in the top 3, I guarantee. And you're going to be able to whip these out so fast, it's going to be crazy. Very, very, very simple fly. So I've got a size 18 Montana Fly Company 7045 in here with a 2.5 tungsten silver bead. Bead color is dealer's choice. I'm going to just attach the thread on here and get some scissors going here. Get some scissors going here. I'm going to tighten this up here. Technical difficulties. There we go. And then we all have seen me do this before with breaking the thread, a little tension here, tension back, pulls it right off. Now, with this bead, there's a couple things you can do to secure it in place. You can do a lot of wraps. You can dam it up through there. You can not do a thing and just let it slide around, and as you tie the fly, the materials that you put on and pack it forward. Or you can do what I do, which is I bring the thread up to the top here, and I'm going to bring it real close to the shank. And then I come around, and then I just go between, see, I pull it back a little bit, and I come through it. And then I wrap around it, and I'm securing it, kind of bracing it. You can kind of see on the bottom there what I've done. And it just kind of secures that in there. Nice and easy. As we build the fly and get it up, get the materials packed in there, that'll also secure it in there, and you don't have to worry about it once the fly is finished. If those thread wraps get caught in fish teeth or break, it's going to have zero effect on the durability of the fly. So we're doing a Scud. So we're going to take our thread. I always like to put a layer of thread over the area of the shank that I'm going to tie on. Why do we do that? Well, it gives us a base to which to apply the materials that works independent of a smooth shank, meaning I can place materials anywhere I want on the shank. I don't have to worry about them slipping and sliding around. This is, we're going to use a little monofilament for the ribbing here. We don't need to use any wire. You can if you want. I like to keep this fly kind of au naturel. So that's why I like to use this is just some 5X. You could use 6X. And what we're going to do is one of the things you can do with wire or any of these kind of ribbing materials that you're going to tie on with the bead is you can find the hole in the bead and stick it right in there and then wrap once or twice, and there you go. It's got it attached. You can do it the old-fashioned way. You can have a little extra material out and pinch wrap it if you want to do that, like that, and then pull it to size, any way you want to do it. Again, I like to use the, oops, and this is why you always have another securing wrap, because one wrap might not just do it. We just do that, 2 wraps, and I'm going to pull that to length. I like it on the other side of the shank, so I put pressure over on the other side of the shank. And then I wrap, and you can see how it just conforms to the shank as I wrap it down. And that is all we're going to do. Nothing fancy there at all. Now, the fancy part of this is this. This dubbing that we carry now, this is new from Fulling Mill. I think it's been out 6 months, 9 months, something like that. It's called, it's their Eco Trigger Dubbing and Spicy Mustard color. This happens to be, in my opinion, one of the best light orange, natural orange Scud dubbings you can get your hands on. So we've we moved our thread down to the right in line with the last wrap of the ribbing. You can see it's at the same place. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put some dubbing on here. I mean, this is really that simple. And one of the things you want to, good idea you can do with your dubbing is break it up into smaller pieces, a little bit more controlled. I mean, get an idea, but cart it up a bit. You always want to pull it out like this is uncarded. I'm just pulling it straight out of the package. You can see you got a lot of long fibers and stuff. I like to kind of break this down a bit myself. Personal preference. You don't have to do any of this. It's just the way I like to do it. I like it that way. It just gives me a little bit more control and gives me kind of a uniformity of length of fibers to a certain degree. Not 100%, but enough to where I like it. And then, I got a nice little ball of dubbing that is of the size and density that I personally like to work with. You might like something else, but this is how I like to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fingers a little moist, thumb and forefinger, and I'm going to just start pulling out some of the dubbing, and we're just going to lay it on the shank here. Or lay it on the thread. We're not going to be too worried about twisting it on the thread right now. We just want to get it on, establish contact, and we're going to pretty it up a little bit after we get enough dubbing on here. So there we go. I got a rough dubbed. I want to keep it rough, but I want to compress it a little bit around the thread. So I'm just going to start to loosely spin and kind of keep a uniform size as best we can. If you get a little bunch, there's a little bit of a bunch right there. Just come in here you can come in here with your fingers and then just pull it apart a little bit, Nothing fancy. Most fly tying techniques aren't fancy at all. And the ones that are, you usually don't need them unless you're doing something super specialized like Atlantic salmon flies or something like that. So simple techniques applied with precision are really all you need. So that's my guess about how much dubbing I'm going to need to fill up the shank of this size 18 hook. I'm going to bring the dubbing down to the shank. And then I'm just going to wrap a couple of wraps up high just to establish contact of the dubbing with the shank. I like to maneuver the vise a little bit. For me, upside down. If you don't have a vise that does this, it's certainly not the, you can certainly do it like this. Just kind of wrap down back a little bit to the point of where the dubbing, the ribbing comes in. Kind of see that here. And you just kind of want to establish a little bit of bulk there because, the Scud's a bulky fly. And then from here, we're just going to work on up the hook shank. One of the tricks you can do is with your index finger of your other hand, your free hand, the one with the scissors, is every time you take the dubbing and roll it over with your finger, and you can see how it kind of smooths it out. You see how it's kind of a lump there? And then when I do this, it kind of goes away. Lump, see? Like that. There's a lump. Put my finger on it, it goes away. Lump, put my finger on it, it goes away. Just a little trick of making smooth flies. Fish don't care, but fly tyers do. Just like that, see? And then what I'm doing here is I'm just packing some of this extra dubbing into the space between the shank and the bead. And then there you go. That's all you need to do. And then I've got a lot of this, so we're just going to snip that off here. An imaginable piece. You can counter wrap it or regular wrap it. I'll be honest with you, I've been tying flies for 55 years, and I've never understood why the difference between a counter wrap and a non-countered wrap. I mean, you're still wrapping a material under pressure over another material. But I'm sure we'll get a lot of comments about this. But I'm just going to wrap it clockwise right here instead of counterclockwise. And just regular old ribbing, concentric wraps to, the dimensions and size of the hook. And a little wiggle kind of gets it to cut in there a little bit. A little wiggle gets it to cut in. A little wiggle gets it to cut in, and then a couple of wraps around there. And then now you see I got a little X formed here. So underneath here, I just come up one time to secure it here. Another wrap there, pull it off I want to pull it off over here. It kind of wants to bounce back. I come underneath, I grab it. And so what I've done is I've done an X wrap like that. I talk about that a lot. This is how I like to finish my materials. Not with one wrap, but with an X wrap like that, because then I got pressure coming down here and I got pressure coming down there. I'm going to snip this off, this ribbing, and we are done with the fly. And you should be able to tie these a lot faster than this one, because I've been babbling. This fly should take maybe 90 seconds. Whip finish, nothing fancy there. And then that's it. I'm going to cut that tag a little bit closer. And now what we do is we want to brush it out. If we had something to brush it out with, we don't have that right here, but we'll just a dubbing brush would be fine. I'll just take my scissors here. This is how we used to do it in the old days before we had all these tools. You just go in between the thread wraps and pick things out, or the ribbing wraps. But that's it. So let's get this fly in the water here so I can show you how translucent. We have, through the magic of television and video, we have a dubbing brush here. So we're just going to brush it all out. Yep, make it nice and ugly. That's what we want. There we go. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of this mono here, leftover mono, through the eye here. And then I'm going to get this fly a little wet here. And then when we hold it up to the camera,
put that in the vise.
Put it in the vise?
Yeah.
You'll see how translucent all this is. And how much it just looks like a scud, just like this. We don't need any fancy shell backs. We don't need any fancy legs. We don't need any of that stuff. If you want to put it on, that's great. I mean, I'm all for tying flies and, the art of fly tying and all of that. That's great. But for this fly, we're talking about what you need to catch a fish, right? And for that, we don't need any legs other than what we can brush out. We don't need any shellback because it just doesn't matter. And all we need is a nice impression of a scud that has been introduced into the water column in such a way that the trout will focus in on it and eat it. And this guy, I've been using this guy all winter. I've had dynamite success on it. Very simple. I mean, you crank out a dozen of these in a half an hour. So I highly suggest coming into the shop, getting some of this dubbing, tying this fly up and going out and having a good day out on the creek. This is Wayne at Root River Rod Co. See you out on the water.